like generally most people around me, I think don't care enough about their health. And I'm in the business of money and wealth and etc. And for me, I can't think of like how can you think of money and wealth without really thinking about your health? I think some of these things are glorified, which is work too much, sleep very little. Whatever period I'm on this planet Earth, I need to be, leading a healthy life. I'm just an average guy. I just, a little more health conscious. And like the problem in the industry today is, I think, in the business startups as well, is everyone's stressed, about growing at a certain speed. I think everyone's compromising on the health. Taking care of your body is really should be the most important priority in your life.
Hi, welcome to The Other Side. I'm your host Dilip, an entrepreneur and an endurance athlete. In this podcast, we'll explore the experiences of high performing individuals while unpacking their mental and physical fitness routines that took them to where they are. For this episode, I'll be speaking with Nithin Kamath, the founder of India's largest stockbroker, Zerodha. We don't talk stocks, company building, or bootstrapping. We will discover why being healthy is always on top of Nithin's mind, his routines on nutrition, sleep, and staying fit, and how many biryanis he can eat in a day. So let's explore his other side.
What was your morning workout today morning?
Yeah, no, I did a chest workout today.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it very specific to a particular training you're doing, or is it just part of your routine? Like every day is a chest workout, or do you have a structured format?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the smarter things I did was, to kind of get myself a trainer like a year and a half, 2 years back. So he plans everything. So current routine, chest is on Fridays, but usually, historically, it was legs on Fridays. So, I kind of get some rest over the weekend. The plan was that, but I kind of prefer legs on Monday, so get done with the most painful part.
Leg days. Yeah. So you usually know about the workout beforehand, or the trainer just shows up and say, "Hey, this is what we're going to do."
Yeah. So he tells the body part, but the workout kind of remains a surprise. So I mean it's better to I think I prefer it to be a surprise than be prepared. Right. But at least I know what body part, so I'm taking it easy, like the previous day, so.
And it's usually a flexibility, like, I mean, do you get to talk to him and say, look, today I'm stiff or I have soreness, so let's move it around and do something else for the day?
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about this, like, we were just having a discussion with him. The last 1.5 years, almost 2 years of working along with him, I haven't really gotten to the gym and said, I'm feeling down and let's not do it. So I think I've maybe taken 3 or 4 days when I was sick. I think there were ones with COVID and etc. But I've been quite consistent. And so if I can make myself to the gym and I get my warm up, which is usually some mobility and stretching etc., then I'm wired. So I have my coffee before workout and I'm wired. But there are days when I get up and I feel like I shouldn't work out and I just try to avoid, like.
So in the last few months, how many times you texted him and said that, look, dude, don't show up today?
No, I haven't done that. I haven't done that last 1.5 years, and I think, I mean, yeah, there were days when I felt sick and I have not done it, but I haven't gotten up, not felt motivated and not done it. And I think one of the reasons for that is my workouts are at 5:30 in the morning, so I'm up by 5. I think it's like the first thing I want to get done in my day. Because I know that if I push it even after 7 a.m., there'll be too many distractions and I might be in that zone where I say, you know what, let's postpone this and stuff like that. I've realized, like a hack for myself is to get it done first thing in the day.
Right. So we're going to double click on your morning routine, but what was your breakfast plate today?
Yeah, breakfast is usually eggs.
Okay. It's like an everyday thing?
Yeah, it's an everyday thing. I mean, I like little soft boiled eggs, and some South Indian thing. I mean, I cannot stay without idli, dosa, upma. I need some of that for carbs. So there's usually there's an egg omelette, soft boiled eggs and some South Indian dish.
Right. So it was a chest day and an egg day. So So the next thing is that, so a few weeks back, I sent you an email saying, Nithin, hey, this is a project which I'm trying to think through, and I want to do a podcast with you. But I'm not going to talk to you anything about what you usually talk. It's largely going to be health, fitness. And you being you immediately emailed me, said, I'm all good, let's do this, right? And that's the same enthusiasm I sensed when a few years back I came to you and I was pitching my startup idea. So what's your relationship with health and fitness? Like, I mean, why is it so important and close to you?
Yeah, no, I think, see, the thing is, I think we don't, like, generally most people around me, I think don't care enough about their health. And I'm in the business of money and wealth and etc. And for me, I can't think of, like, how can you think of money and wealth without really thinking about your health? Because you make all this money for your retirement or whatever, right? And if your quality of life when you are 60 plus or 55, 60 plus isn't going to be good, then why even bother making the money, right? Because no money can help you kind of go get over health. So I think health is a very important aspect. I think everyone should be bothered about health, but very few are. And I have used every opportunity, to kind of see if I can, somehow nudge not just people at Zerodha, my friends. There are so many challenges that I'm running with so many people right now.
You should talk about that. Yeah.
So,
right.
getting them to nudge, have some bet going, which kind of forces them to think about their health. So I think health is a very important aspect. Not enough people talk about it, at least in India. So I think the onus is on people like me who are conscious about it to actually go out and put out the importance there.
So you once said, looking fit is okay, but feeling fitter is even more important. So can you elaborate? What does that mean?
Yeah. See, the thing is, looking fit is nutrition, right? In the sense, if you want to get six pack abs, you want to look a certain way. That is tweaking your nutrition at the end of it. And it's very hard for normal people to be like that. I was just listening on a podcast. I think this Chris Gethin, talking about how he trained Hrithik Roshan and this whole, the fact that he, for one scene in that movie, for every fight scene, there would be like 7 days of work that goes into it.
Wow.
He's dehydrating himself for 7 days.
This is like the Krish movie something?
The Krish movie one, right? Yeah. So, normal people can't do stuff like that. This whole Instagram, the problem is it almost seems like normal people can get there, and that cannot be a goal because it's impossible to be at sub 10% body fat, like 7-8%, look ripped. When you have a business, you have family, you have kids, you have to worry about your job, or when you're doing all of these things, it's really hard to kind of look, because a lot of people associate fitness with
the
six
aesthetic
packs,
side of it.
the aesthetic side, and it's really not that. Fitness is about, I think, is if you can survive a day and still feel energetic at the end of the day before you go to bed, or if you can I think fitness is more than just looking good, and this is what I usually keep telling is that I think people need to focus on functional aspects of fitness and not just about the looking good aspect. Even to be functionally fit, you need to kind of maintain good health and good nutrition, but it need not be to the levels at which you have some of these athletes or Bollywood stars or Hollywood stars get there.
So what's your body percentage right now?
Don't ask me. I've been at I think I'm at 18.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah, 17, 18.
Absolutely.
But,
so you have a number to hit, like?
Yeah, I've been like, I need to maintain sub 15% is what I think. But
and how do you come at that number 15?
It's not too hard to be at 15, I think. Okay. So I know what I need to change in my life to be at sub 15. But like I said, this nutrition is really a bitch in the sense, it's really hard to maintain good nutrition throughout. And I love my sweets, I love my booze, so it's very hard to, let go of everything,
So when you look at 15 as a number, do you look at that's a milestone I should reach, or do you also look at it, okay, that's a number which I'll be able to kind of maintain in the longer term?
No, I think it's more, I'll be able to maintain that in the longer run. So it's it without really compromising too much on my life, right? As in, like, I mean, I'm not trying to be a Bollywood star or something like that. It's not like I need to get a six pack.
But you're a star of some other kind.
So
Right.
yeah, so it's yeah.
One aspect is the physical fitness of it. What's your take on mental fitness? Because so in the times we live, especially in the startup ecosystem and the corporate system, right? The hustle and the grind mentality is kind of over celebrated these days, right? And it has its own downsides of getting stressed out. So what's your take on mental fitness, and how do you train yourself in being on the right spot?
Yeah, I mean, like, I kind of think about it as well. The fact that I could get up almost all days in the last 1.5, 2 years and not say no to workout, that's more mind than really, physical. Because, it's very easy to get demotivated, right? As in, and so it's not like I've not worked long hours, I've not been stressed or something like that. So it's, I remember the first few years of Zerodha, I think we were working like, I don't know, 13, 14 hours a day types, So, and, but as we've grown as a business, I've realized it's important that people don't work hard. Because I think working hard is overrated. And because, if you're thinking long enough, long term enough, then you will know the importance of conserving your energy, right? Because it's like a marathon, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you're not doing a 100-meter dash. Because in the problem in the startup world or in the business world, or, we've all been told that you need to work.
I keep grinding,
yeah, right. And but then, if you're thinking about your career as 30 years, 40 years, right? 3 months of working really hard can have significant damages over the next 29 years and 9 months, right? So I think some of these things I started appreciating, as we grew as a business, saying, not just me, I need to make sure that everyone on the team as well is not overworked as such.
Yeah.
So like, for example, at Zerodha today, we kill all work chat at 6 p.m. because one of the things I realized was that if people are chatting after 6 p.m., they'll be distracted all the time.
Sure.
Right. And if you have on these chat groups, you have these managers. If a manager pings, then almost everyone in the group is required to be wired in on what's happening, right? Because, say, for example, I'm on a group with, say, 60 people, and at 8 p.m. I randomly, said something on the group. Now all the 79 people are forced to
read through that,
and then acknowledge, and then whatever, they might be spending time with the kids or doing whatever. Now they're distracted.
Yeah,
right?
so it's essentially context switching, right? I mean, you're doing something else, and now you have to kind of spend your processing time to read through what you've done.
And then the thing is, if you know that I can send a chat at 8 p.m., you're probably already distracted.
Right.
Right. The saying, Nithin might just send something, I need to be ready to respond and stuff like that. So, so we kind of made some of these changes internally, and so the thing is, I think the problem everywhere is that we are all constantly thinking with near-term goals, and not really focused too much on the long-term goals of sorts. You're always compromising near-term whatever decisions. Prioritizing near term, so it ends compromising on whatever can affect you long term. And mind's really, I think, the most important aspect of a human. And so I've always played a sport because I find it almost meditative of sorts. So there's I used to play a lot of basketball when I was younger. A little bit of football. I love swimming. In between, I got into this whole I'll do triathlons and stuff like that. So there have been different phases, but I've always done something that keeps me, like mentally, where I can't think about work. Because when you're playing a sport, it's impossible for me to think about what's happening with work. So it's the other thing I've done is I like music, so I've always. I give myself 15 minutes a day doing something around music, So right now I'm trying to learn Western classical guitar, So it's, for a while I was trying to learn keyboard. So I also find that, I can't stick around doing the same thing for too long. I need to, but going from no knowledge to kind of beginner, I find it very interesting. So I've learned a bunch of instruments.
Right.
And Kian, my son, plays the drums now.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
So now now that he's playing the drums, I have Like, we are usually playing 10-15 minutes of music every day. And then now I've also, he's 7 years old. So one of the ways I think I, keep myself mentally okay is, I try to spend at least 30 to 45 minutes every day with
Every
him.
day? Okay.
Just before sleep. We just pick up and talk about random stuff. Right now, I just brought him this Olympiad books. Oh my God, like second standard kids have to do such fancy maths.
So do you have to do your homework to go and sit with him first?
No. We just randomly,
Okay.
just sit down and. But I think by the time he gets to fourth standard,
Yeah.
and if I'm, I have a feeling these math Olympiad books are going to be so challenging that I will have
You
to be
start probably have to take tuitions.
so,
Right.
and the other thing I've done personally is I try to kill all my devices by 7:30. So there isn't any. I'm trying because I find it hard to sleep if I'm wired. So by 7:38 I've killed all my this thing.
So that's one of your sleep protocols, right? You kind of
Yeah.
prepare yourself
Yeah.
for your sleep, and you just not like you just go and crash.
Yeah, I find it really hard to do it. Because if I'm wired, I'm thinking about something about work. I go to the bed. It just I carry it along with me, and I've struggled with sleep historically, but this killing devices over the last 1 year has helped me significantly.
Right.
So I kill devices, spend some time with Kian, and then I go to sleep. So it kind of puts me in that zone where I'm more relaxed than wired, and I think I don't think enough people give importance to sleep, right? I think
True. Probably the most ignored aspect, because people kind of take it granted that when you start yawning, that's the time. Probably when you start yawning, that's a red signal that you're too late.
Yeah, and it's also glorified, right? Saying I sleep only 5. People come out and glorify. Like, I have friends who come and say, what, I sleep only 3 hours. It's
3
good.
hours.
I'm like, what's
Right.
wrong? You're so stupid.
Right, absolutely.
You're just ruining your life. Mentally, physically. You'll probably not see it today, but you'll see it in 10 years, 20 years from now. So I think like I said, I think some of these things are glorified, which is work too much, sleep very little, and stuff like that. And I think near term you might see some good outcomes, but it's like the marathon, right? If you run really fast right at the start,
you burn out.
You probably will not finish well.
Sure.
So
right.
So I think that's how I look. At least now, as I've gotten older, I think I've more matured, and I think of conserving myself. I was listening to another interesting podcast where, a very interesting question, which is, how do you want to lead your last 10 years of your life?
Wow.
Right.
And you have an answer for that?
Yeah, I want to be playing a sport when I'm, I don't want to be bedridden, and so I know now if you kind of go back, usually you forecast, but if you can backcast, saying that if at 90, I don't know if you've seen Carl Icahn, one of those billionaire investors. He plays tennis, he's 91, and so if I want to be playing ball at 90, 91, I know all the lifestyle changes I have to make at 40 to be able to be a certain way at 90. So of course, you can get up one day and some accident happens, or you get hit by like Seema, my wife, was probably one of the healthiest persons I knew. She got up one day and she had cancer. So it's, you cannot get away from those things. But doing some of these things right, you just improve the odds of leading kind of a healthier life.
So let's go back. So mental fitness is super important, and you said there are tools what you've been kind of instilling inside your team, inside the company. I would imagine it would be super hard for a business like yours, where you probably need to be on the go all the time, and saying that, look, after an X time you don't chat. How do you? Is there a way to monitor or measure? Like, I don't know if you have a mechanism where you're saying that, hey, some manager has sent a message at 8 p.m. That's a red sign, so that's a warning. Like, do you measure it in some way?
No, I think it's leading by example. So it's not like at 8 p.m. Like I get random things to say at 7:30, right? I make a note of it, and the idea was to not have any, keep it all asynchronous. So in a sense, don't. Like, even if I want to communicate, I'll write an email for myself, or I'll put it on Google Keep or something like that, and say it can wait till Monday. Unless of course there is something really important, right? Really urgent, of course, And the thing is, if if you're going to only do it when something really important is there, then
Okay.
it's okay. I mean, you can't. And as a business, there'll be emergencies. You can't say there's an emergency happening, I'll wait till tomorrow morning.
Right.
So I think it starts from me. If I don't do it, people see how I behave, and then it kind of seeps through the organization, right? But if I say all of this, and I am randomly sending messages at different times and on weekends, on Sundays, and etc. I think people also will stop caring about some of these things. No, but we're not really sitting and monitoring.
Okay.
I don't think.
Right.
I don't think it's really worth it.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. But internally, we have this like a very open forum. We call it inside.zerodha. It's
Okay.
where we are constantly talking. Where I'm usually saying and putting stuff out there. And a lot of people, we don't have like a multiple hierarchy. So everyone in the organization is just one ping away from me. So if there's something which isn't going as per what we've all decided how the business should run, I get to know almost instantly. So it's kind of helped that we haven't grown in terms of number of people as an organization.
Right.
So around 1,100 people. So I almost know everyone by their name. So. But it would have been, I think, scaling that would have been a challenge. Like if you're a 10,000 member team,
right?
How do you then, because then you would have to rely on
Go
managers,
back, yeah,
right? And how do you ensure every manager is following everything that the company wants?
Yeah.
So it's so I don't know if this way of running it can scale if businesses become much bigger. But until now it's been quite okay, and people also generally appreciate within the company, so if you are kind of taking care of them, you're saying and doing the right things, they also, our attrition rates are really low, and it kind of has long-term benefits for the business as well.
So so it's very interesting, right? You're probably one of the very few founders here, at least I know of, who is putting out there and saying that, look, this grind and hustle is perhaps overrated, right? And you were just saying that, look, no communication after next time. And you kind of summed up with giving some tools, right? I mean, you're distracting yourself away from the work, spending time with your kid, playing instruments, sports, right? And so I'm looking at it as like a toolkit, right? And saying that, look, you got to do something to make sure that that mental aspect of yours is also kind of refreshed. You said you're conserving your energy. And, that's a very profound way of saying that you only have this much of fuel left, right? So don't kind of burn it out completely and look it from a long-term perspective, right? Have you in the past experienced a point where you felt that, look, that burnout is in me, like you can feel the burnout, and you said, okay, let's pause, let me rethink?
No, I don't think it was like that, like one moment where I reached like this, there's no hero moment that I suddenly reached there and I said, what, I need to change my life. It wasn't that. I think I've generally been very conscious about health and fitness through my life. And I think like there was one point though when COVID happened, right? And everyone went work from home. Suddenly I realized that this, all this work that was happening on Google Chat, etc., was just stupid. I was like, just people randomly, without being self-aware, sending, including me. Like randomly, I'll at 9 p.m. I'll I get.
That's you confessing out there saying that you did that. Yeah.
No, because like I don't think people knew how to transition into remote work. Like no one knew, right? As in this is like the first time it's happening to everyone, right? So, and I think. At that time, I kind of knew that some of these things that we're doing as a business is maybe not right, and we need to change. Was I burnt out and I did it? Maybe not, and I don't think I was really burnt out. But I think we internally started speaking about it, and some of us, and we said it's maybe not the right thing for anyone on the team, and what's not right for the team is not right for the business as well, right? And and I think the reason most companies think short term is because people who run the business have a pressure to show short-term growth, right? So so you're always optimizing for that, right? As in, if you've raised funds from investor, or you're a listed company. If you're a listed company, you have a quarter-on-quarter growth pressure to grow at a certain speed. If you're a private company, the investor is going to have some targets for you. So when founders start pushing, it's so there's a pressure on the business, on the founders as well.
Which will kind of trickle down to your team and essentially your company.
Yeah, right. And which is, you're constantly, putting pressure to reach that monthly goal, that quarterly goal, and then it's very easy to compromise on some of these health, mental, overall wellness. That takes a back seat. But if founders had the freedom saying, you know what, I don't care about quarters and half years, but I care what your business will be 10 years from now, and the founders were optimizing for what is 10 years from now, automatically decisions will change. Right. And I think as Zerodha, I think I'm super lucky to be in a place where I can make
those calls.
Because if not, if I was running a business where I had a quarter-on-quarter pressure, maybe I would not have been able to say some of these things, right? So it's very hard otherwise, right? As in, forget founders, even CXOs, even managers of a team, right? Every manager of a team has got pressure from his boss, to meet a certain monthly goal, and it's very hard for that manager to then think about the wellness of his team, right? As in, it's really hard,
So let's go back to your physical routine. So what's your typical fitness routine these days, right? Just kind of at a very macro level, how do you kind of think through on a weekly basis, on a weekend basis?
I'm working out every day, Monday to Friday.
Okay.
So I get up by 5, I have my coffee. I have a black coffee right at the start, just to, get through my workout well.
So you're basically a morning workout guy.
Yeah, I can stay at night, but there are 2 reasons I try to end my day early. One is because I have a habit of binging.
Okay.
If I've realized that the later I stay awake in the night, the more chances of me binging. So if I kill my night at say 9 p.m., that 9 to 11 binge will not happen, right? Because what happens, right? Generally until 6:30 in the evening, you're busy with work.
Okay, yeah.
You're distracted. So you're not thinking about binging, right? I think for most people, the binging problem is really in your relaxed moment, right? As in, you've had a long day of work, and then you're sitting and you're probably chilling, and then you want to have chips or you want to have some nuts and whatever, right? So, the chance of you derailing in terms of nutrition is much higher. So I found this like a good hack, which is, let me just sleep early, So
okay.
So
essentially it's reversed, right? Just because you have to get up early, you have a workout, you go to the bed early, and therefore you're basically, it's a hack for you to cut down on your binging.
Absolutely, yeah. Because I on a weekend I still end up binging.
Okay, I was saying that. So workouts is Monday to Friday. So Saturday, Sunday is still you're open.
So at least on Monday to Friday I found a hack.
Okay.
And
you don't want to find a hack on Saturday, Sunday. You just want to keep it.
I try, like every first week of the month, my Saturday, Sundays are much cleaner than the last week of the month, right? So the problem with Saturdays is, and Sundays, I get up on a Saturday relaxed. Of late, I've been doing yoga Saturday mornings, which is stretching and just generally having fun. And then I come, my breakfast is clean. Around lunchtime, I'll be like, in the sense, I don't go binge, as in I don't even feel like eating, say, like rasgulla or whatever, right? I love dark chocolates, I like my 85% chocolates. So it'll be like one small piece, and then I love my nuts.
And is usually any pattern to there? Are there any particular days you'll be able to track that? Okay, those are the reasons why you have that binging craving and all. Is there any pattern?
It's just I'm just relaxed. I'm not wired on those days, and I keep questioning. If I keep telling this to myself, if I was a Bollywood star or something, and
would you do that?
Would I do it?
You have to post your picture on Instagram. You can't do that.
So if people are paying me money to look fit, I would probably do it. I'd probably be wired on a Saturday and Sunday, but other problem I have is, on a weekend is I'm trying to outrun my diet, not bad diet, but outrun. So I will try to go play basketball or football, and I have my, an activity tracker, because usually when you, play a sport, you end up burning 1,500 calories.
Right, yeah.
Then I'm like, what, I can go and somehow, like I can eat a biryani on a Saturday afternoon, and then
But that's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
being a South Indian guy, biryani over a weekend, I mean, you deserve that, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, one biryani is okay, but yeah, if you end up doing Saturday biryani, lunch biryani, dinner biryani, Sunday biryani, you know, I mean, then it's a issue. No, like I said, it's you know, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I like the fact that on a weekend I'm getting to kind of eat what I like to eat. Say on a weekday, it's I get up at 5:30 is we start the workout, like on 15-20 minutes of mobility stretching, 45 minutes of workout, and end it with a 10-minute of HIIT, you know.
Okay.
So
Okay.
and so by 7 I'm done. Between 7:15 to 7:30, 7:45, I pick up the guitar nowadays, and I'm either, you know, singing to myself, or, you know, I'm practicing some of what.
That's in the, so you're doing this in the morning right after your workout?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Because again, you know, I postpone these things. I find it very hard to do once the work.
So is it because you are in that streak of learning, or is it you find a reason to kind of...
No, I mean, I find it very meditative.
Okay.
So, you know, like I lock myself in a room and...
Wow. Okay.
And you know, I you know, when I'm singing, I find, like, I almost sound like Eric Clapton or whatever, in my head, right? You know,
That's a great way to start your day. You're
Yeah.
feeling like Captain.
So 7:45, yeah, you know, I mean, I pick up my emails, you know, get through with the emails.
So you're basically not checking your email right after, till the time you're done with your workout, you're unwinding with guitar, and then you kind of...
No, I mean, at 5:30, I've you know, when I'm doing that coffee, etc., I'm seeing overnight emails. Yeah, you know, something emergency or whatever, you know. But I also like take me 5-10 minutes to look what's happening to the world. You know, like go with all the stock market indices, and etc. Right. So yeah, so 7:45, whatever, you know, I'm like wired, and I start doing work. By 9 I have my breakfast, 8:45, 9, and one of the things that I'm trying to do is at least get... I mean, I understand the benefits of intermittent fasting, but I've also realized that I'm not the type who can do intermittent fasting.
I wanted to ask you about your dieting principles. So you're not into intermittent fasting anymore.
So
you tried that earlier,
Yeah,
right?
I tried, but it was extremely hard to, you know, kind of, you know, like fast for 16 hours a day and all of that. I mean, I found it very hard.
Did you find any metric which you felt that it's just not for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's not metric. It's just you know, a constant fighting, you know, for not having food, right? Like it was a big mental challenge for me. So so I try to have my dinner by like 6:30, and I try to have my first meal like whatever protein shake. If I'm doing after a workout, I'm doing it like 7:45, 8. So I get 12 hours, 13 hours, and I'm like, you know, this is okay. You know,
Okay.
I don't want to, you know, try to make it 16 hours and then push myself and, you know, feel frustrated types, you know. But some people, you know, I have friends who are doing one meal a day and they're completely okay with it, right? But I cannot do it.
Yeah, I think it's each its own, right? I mean, so my wife does intermittent fasting, and you know, postpartum, it just worked wonder for her. I mean, she's been able to lose a ton of weight, and she also tells me that she feels energetic. For me, it sounds weird because I can't, right? I mean, I do a lot of endurance training, and I can't keep myself starving for 16, 18 hours because I need to keep eating, right? So I think more than the tangible outcome, which like losing weight and all, I've also seen people telling there's a lot of intangible benefits, like they feel more fresh, energetic, alert.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think there's enough science now to say that, you know,
it's working.
The growth hormones, you know, I mean, your body's ability to generate growth hormones increases with intermittent fasting. But there's also science that says that it's not same for everyone.
Everyone, true.
Right. So it's you know, like I think it's about, I think as all of us as, you know, humans, I think it's about finding what works for you. And not making any cut, copy, paste, because I've done that. You know, I tried to cut, copy, paste, and, you know, felt frustrated about it. Right. So yeah. So I think as you grow older, you tend to figure what works.
What works for you, right?
And do that. You know.
So that's interesting, right? So do you experiment yourself, right? I mean, or is it come through an expert to say that, hey, you got to do an IF, or you got to do some other paleo or any of such, or do you kind of pick up something and say, look, I got to experiment something and figure it out?
No, I mean, I have an interest in this, so I end up, you know, listening to podcasts and you know, and you know, like someone says something that sounds interesting, I'm like, you know what, maybe it's worth trying.
Yeah,
you know?
let's
So,
give it a shot.
like,
Yeah.
But I wouldn't pick up, like, for example, would I pick up a fruit diet? I wouldn't, because you know, so
There's something called as a water diet also.
yeah, you know, like, you know, like you know, like some of these guys who fast for 3 days, 4 days, and, you know, who claim that, you know, they've such. I mean, I would never even attempt trying to do that, you know, so because I know that I'm not going to survive that. So yeah, so some things that make sense, you know, and I think my body is kind of up for it. I'd probably do it.
So essentially, you in a way you're measuring also. You're experimenting, and you get some signs, and you kind of get a feeling that probably that's not for you. So you kind of move on.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So, but I think one of the things I've realized is that like those experiments help you figure better about yourself. Some of these things don't even work. Like for example, after my workout I need carbs. Okay, so I've tried no carbs after my workout.
Okay.
And then
Zero carbs or low carbs?
like zero carbs after workout. Like right now I would do like oats, overnight soaked oats or something like that. And but if I were to not do that, by 9 a.m. I'm already feeling like burnt out.
Okay.
Like so I need like I know that to survive the day I need carbs right out of my workout. And this is something I figured after not doing carbs after workout and giving it enough time, because sometimes like first day your body is always going to resist any change.
Yeah, and it takes time for adaptations.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've given like 10-15 days and said what, maybe it'll change. But it hasn't. So I've gone back to, so like I said, I don't have to look like whatever Hrithik Roshan or whatever.
Hrithik Roshan.
So I don't really care much about
Right.
like trying to optimize it to a level that you get your six packs and stuff like that.
So we know your routine, how your morning starts, your physical routine. So what any particular fitness goals you have? I know body fat percentage was one of it. So is that what's on your mind, or do you have something else?
I've always wanted to do muscle ups in my life.
Okay. Yeah.
So so right now it's on my list of things to do. Okay. And I don't know. Like my shoulder mobility isn't that great, and I've injured myself many times when I used to play basketball.
Okay.
And even once cricket, I I'd hurt myself. So now I'm trying to get mobility back on my shoulder, improving my grip strength. So my goal is that by my next October, by my next birthday, I should be able to do at least one muscle up. Wow. Because I know that it's going to be hard to do 10 muscle ups, because my goal is because I know that if I have to get my muscle up going, I'll automatically my grip strength goes up, and all of those benefits anyways will be there. So right now that's.
And how do you come up with these challenges for yourself? I mean, like, is there a milestone you keep changing these goals to kind of keep yourself excited enough for your fitness routine, or someone tells you that, hey, this should be a goal? How do you come up with your own?
I to be very honest, right now I have a muscle up goal, and I've always wanted to do it, and I saw someone do it recently, so now I'm like, dude, if he can do it, I should also be able to, okay. So that's how it's become a goal.
And does your trainer, do you have a talk with the trainer to say, hey, look, is this a goal what you guys should work on right now, or probably you should do it at a later time because you want to work on your mobility? Do you have that iterations with the trainer?
No, I think it's about right now all conversation with the trainer is just how do you get strong, and not even how do you get strong, how do you retain strength, right? Because I think as you grow older, you become more fragile, right? And I think maintaining strength is really, really important, as you grow older. I was reading up on this metric which said that, like, if you're more than 60 years old, and if you have if you fall down and have a fracture, your chances of death goes up by 40%. Wow. Within the next 1 year, right? So which means that if you have to maintain your bone strength, once you're 60, 65, whatever, you need to be able to move strong things, lift heavy and etc. So that way your bones are stronger. Your chance of having a fracture reduces.
Diminishes, right?
And like I said, I've been constantly doing this whole backcasting of sorts. I'm like, how do I want to lead my life once I'm 60 and over, and trying to kind of my goals are more that saying that, like, whatever period I'm on this planet Earth, I need to be leading a healthy life and not and
that brings me what's the role of the trainer in your life? Like, in generally, you said that you got a trainer for yourself. How important that person is, and what's your relationship with that trainer?
Yeah, the thing was, so I've always, like Google searched for everything in my life, like everyone else, right? So
absolutely, yeah. So, just Google or YouTube also.
Yeah, for YouTube, I think there's a lot more fitness content now.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm saying, historically, if I think about like 10 years from, like 10, 15 years back, it was, I think, bodybuilding.com, or, like you go there, you find your routine, and, you try to do it.
I remember sometime back, you were also, you told me you were into Athlean X.
Right, yeah. I mean, I found him very interesting as well, So but the thing is, it needs time and effort, right? And I think the other thing I realize is that, when you're working out alone in yourself, you don't think about postures and all of that.
Yeah.
So when you're young,
it's super important, right? I mean, people just think that you just need to do burpees or squats. Right. They don't realize that the posture or the form, it's not just about getting the number of things done, it's getting the right thing done in the right way.
Correct, absolutely. And I think I had a bunch of injuries.
Okay.
While trying to lift, etc., because of bad, no warm up, bad posture, right? So when you were younger, you could, I think, kind of.
So those are the Google days when you were Googling and doing by yourself.
When you're young, like you're in your 20s or 30s, you can do a mistake and you can recover very fast.
Right.
But as you, I think, start getting in 40, I think, an injury can kind of put you down quite. So I was conscious that I'm doing some of these mistakes, and then Bharat is my trainer, and I knew him from like 20 years back, and so during COVID, the first thing I did, the first 3 months of COVID, I lost a lot.
Okay.
I put on like 7-8 kilos, and then I reached out to him and I said, dude, why don't you come, why don't you train, etc. So I think the best thing about him is, one, he ensures that when I'm in a bad posture, he corrects me.
Okay.
Which is very important. So I've started now learning importance of that. The second thing is, when you are lifting weights, it's very easy to get carried away and wanting to lift more weights.
Sure.
Right.
I mean, you have those endorphins that.
Yeah.
I mean, somehow that's a metric, right? More number of weights you kind of lift.
And. I don't think as you grow older you should.
That's any more important. Yeah.
Any more important. So he makes sure that I'm not like my goals aren't anyways to be lifting whatever, and I don't want to be benching some 200 pounds or whatever. So it's not like my goal. So I think it's kind of helped me there. I don't have to spend time thinking about the workout. So I get up in the morning, it's ready. I think after kind of working with him for the last 1.5 2 years, I think I did a mistake. I should have had it.
Hired him earlier.
Like, not him, anyone, right? Like 10 15 years back, So I think I think the outcomes would have been. So it's like in money, right? As in, if you are not sure about what to do with your money, I think
probably get an expert.
You need to find an advisor to help you.
True.
Versus trying to experiment it yourself, or even medicine, right? I mean, you can't Google and say what will fix your. So I think trainers are supremely important.
So in the world of automation and AI, where you have apps for everything, there is still this place of personalization and the human intervention, right? I mean, that human intervention is required not just in telling you what is right and wrong, which is very personalized, which I mean I think some to extent those AI tools are getting done, but probably also for the emotional connect also. I mean that the day when the trainer messages you a day evening like, dude, that's what tomorrow, that's the workout. Yeah. Kind of pumps you up. There's some kind of an accountability that you have to get up in the morning because that guy will show at your doorstep and you got to also work out, right?
Yeah, no, I think so too. So it's just he's the person you're accountable to. It helps. It definitely helps. But I think like I said, right? I mean, it's what is your motivation to remain healthy, right? As in, if it's to look good, I think it's very hard for people to stick to it because when you start with this, like you see Instagram, whatever, and you have this looking good goal, it's almost impossible to reach to them.
Right.
I mean, because most of them are doing substances and and it's so you'll get your chance of getting disappointed are much higher, and I've realized that. So I don't have a look good goal, right? Because I know that if I have like the 6-pack goal, that I'm not gonna ever reach it because
did you had the same realization when you were like in the early 30s or 40s?
I was not. I mean, this is as I've grown older.
Yeah, that's the wisdom and maturity.
Wisdom and maturity that like for me to be able to stick to this. Yeah. For me, when I was younger, it was more if I'm playing basketball or whatever, like being stronger helps me play better.
Right.
So that was my goal of lifting weights, etc. But today, I think for me the goal is to retain strength as I grow older. and so it's So I mean that's how I think about
So you
it.
got the fundamental right that you got a personal trainer. What's your connect with technology and fitness? Like, are you into wearables, data? Do you think that's important? What's your experience been?
Yeah, no, I mean, the Apple Watch has helped me. The activity tracker has helped me significantly because one of the problems when you're working is you see. The thing is, a lot of people think if you get 1 hour of workout in the morning, that's enough. It's not. I mean, you need to be constantly moving through the day, right?
Yeah.
As in, because for your body to be having the right kind of metabolism, and everything going, you need to be moving constantly through the day, and that's something it's very easy to forget, when you're kind of wired into work. So now I have a standing, every I think 45 minutes it alerts me to stand up.
Okay.
You know,
Wow.
so I stand up.
Okay.
And walk around.
Yeah.
I have an activity goal of I think around 1100 calories now. So my workout is usually.
And that's set by yourself, or that
Yeah,
depends on your goals?
No, I've set it myself.
Okay. Okay.
So it's like I get 500, 600, through my workout. So the rest of the day I need to get 500, 600. So which means I need to have done at least 10, 11,000 steps. So yeah, I'm by the evening, when that whatever the ring completes, I find it brilliant, So the activity tracker has been absolutely brilliant for me. I had all these fancy watches that I've all stopped wearing after.
Okay.
After this, so.
Meaningful watches, right? I mean, every accessory seems to now need to have some meaning to it, right? I mean, why
Yeah.
you're doing that, right? Yeah.
So one is that.
And you also track your sleep.
I mean, the thing is, I've gone to the rabbit hole of, trying to figure what works well to sleep, because I know the importance of sleep.
Okay.
Right, I've read a lot of books in sleep. I've read a lot of podcasts, and I've realized that the more I care about sleep, harder it is for me to sleep. Like, I remember
Is it because you're becoming conscious that you
Yeah.
want to work on that, and there's an X number you want
Absolutely,
to hit?
yeah.
Okay.
As soon as I get that, you're trying too hard to sleep, I think it becomes really hard to sleep.
Okay.
I remember, what was a book? I read a
That
book.
Matthew Walker.
Yeah, correct,
Importance of
importance
sleep.
of sleep, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I couldn't sleep well for the next 1 month.
Just because he's emphasizing a lot
so
on sleep.
much
Yeah.
in sleep that I was
Yeah.
so scared about
Yeah.
not sleeping well. So I mean, the sleep, some of these aura rings, etc. I've been thinking about it, but finally I've decided I'm not going to
No.
wear it.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I found I found my fix now, which is kill devices quickly. Have spent some time with Kian and have dinner early. So it kind of is helping me. So
there's essentially a practice to your sleep, like pretty much how you do your workouts. I mean, like the way you warm up, you do a mobility. I mean, you end with stretching. So sleep is also something what you're consciously working on, right? I mean,
Right.
like you said, you have early meal. You spend time with Kian. You probably jam around with some devices. You kill your
Emails
screen
and-
time,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
You're essentially preparing yourself.
Yeah, I
to
mean,
get
I
to
don't
sleep.
think about it as preparation because
But it's
then it
just
becomes
coming out
form.
very naturally to you,
Yeah,
yeah.
I would try to make it so naturally that it doesn't come like a chore. Because if it's a chore, then you tend to think, oh, I need to do these things. So it's not been easy, and I keep slipping. It's not like I can
I mean,
do
you
this.
still have that Saturday, Sunday where you.
Yeah, I find it hard. Or on a weekday, there'll be something, like I would want to watch on like some series or whatever, right? So
Yeah.
you slip, and then you kind of. So it's impossible to stick through all of these things. So I made peace with it that I'm gonna err at least 10% of the times, right? So but at least if you can stick 90% of the times. The other thing I think I found very interesting is if I do end up waking up in the middle of the night.
Okay.
I do a 5-10 minute of this yoga nidra.
Oh wow. Okay.
So a routine, and
Okay.
then it just puts relaxes you, and then
Right.
my odds of sleeping increases significantly after doing that.
Okay.
So
So is there something which you have, I don't know, struggle is the right word, but have you experienced in the past that you had bad bouts of sleep and
Yeah,
now
no, I
you're
mean,
improving?
I've struggled with sleep through my life. I mean, especially after business and all. Constantly the mind keeps churning out business ideas, right? As in, like even now, randomly I'll at 1 a.m. I'll get up, I'll record something on my Google Keep.
Okay.
So
But you're not texting. You're not texting your
not
team.
testing anyone, but yeah, so because I'm also very fearful that I'll forget the idea and then tomorrow struggle the whole day thinking what was the
What was
idea.
that idea about? Yeah.
Right. So I mean, No, it is. It is. Sleep has always been a. Some people, like Nikhil, my younger brother, you give him 5 minutes, look up, look down, he would be sleeping. So I mean,
Wow.
I feel jealous like hell, but I
Yeah.
find it really hard to
Wow.
sleep. So.
Wow, awesome. So no devices. You're not. I mean, you've come to a point where you realize that how much to use the device and how much not. But you're kind of working more as an internal mechanism to say that what's good for you. So you've created your own practice, and by now what works and what doesn't work. Right. Right.
I mean, I tried stuff like melatonin and some of these supplements.
Oh, you
didn't
tried
work.
that? Okay,
Yeah, it
okay,
didn't.
yeah.
I mean, I was, and I also felt, I was ending up depending on it. Like I'll, and I.
You almost as a thin line of it's like a sleeping pill.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really a sleeping pill, but the thing is,
It is not, yeah.
But the fact that you are now wanting to take it every day.
Yeah, because it gives you that relaxation and you
Yeah.
feel that you're getting a good deep sleep.
Yeah. No, I think your body gets used to it.
Yeah.
So your body, ends up getting used to, if you're taking, say, like 1 mg of melatonin a day, your body soon gets used to 1 mg. So you have to up the dosage in any case.
Right.
So, and so yeah, so I mean, I found that whole depending on a, on a strip of melatonin to sleep as a not a good idea. So, so I had, I mean, I killed it of sorts.
So that's interesting. I mean, I didn't thought of talking about that. So do you have some kind of a multivitamin stack or something?
Oh,
like
right.
you talk about melatonin. So anything else in your stack which you usually take as part of your routine?
Yeah, I mean, see, this is, I don't know how much of it is placebo, how much works, but, but I've been, I take multivitamins, I take, I think zinc, magnesium.
Okay, these are essentials.
Are
Yeah.
essentials,
Right,
So
right.
I also do omega-3.
Omega-3, yeah.
Right,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
but like I said, I don't know if all of this really helps because I have my fish, I have green leafy vegetables. I do all of that in my diet in any case. So do I really need supplements? I don't know about it.
Okay.
But this is something, you get sold to, right? As in, you listen to so much of this marketing material
Content,
by,
yeah.
and content by supplement manufacturer that, it almost, it's in your brain that you need to take it. So, but I don't take anything that's, that can be unhealthy for me, in the sense, the only thing I'm unsure about is my protein powder, like whey protein.
Yeah.
Like, because that I cannot stop even if I want to, because in my head, I'm so sold to the idea that after a workout, you need to have protein shake.
Factor thing, right? But is there a I don't know, in the previous years probably you were not taking, so you said it could be a placebo effect, but somewhere have you seen, is there a difference in terms of in your recovery, in your feel good factor? Have you seen any difference?
I mean, one of the things I think I know for sure helps is BCA.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
and there is
amino
enough
acids.
science.
Yeah.
Because I'm someone who sweats quite a bit and I lose my salts as soon as I work out, etc. So I mean it need not be a BCAA. I mean you could just go do a nimbu pani or whatever. And with salt and sugar and recover. But I think just BCAA kind of. It's just again it's sold well as it's a good recovery drink to have.
Right.
So I know that has helped. I have no clue if whey protein helps me or not, because I personally there are times where I take a break from whey protein and I don't feel any difference. So
typically they say that, I mean, you need to have, if you're lifting weights, you're doing strength workout, you need to have an X amount of protein.
no, I think I get that much. I mean, like people talk about a gram
Of your weight.
per kilo of your weight, which is 80 to 100 grams for
Yeah.
me. I think I get it. I probably end up getting more. I think a lot of people who lift weights and etc. I think they end up getting more protein than their body really requires. And
you're anyway not doing a heavy lifting bodybuilding.
yeah,
or
I mean,
something,
it's not. I mean, I'm not trying to become like power lifter or whatever. So yeah, I don't really stress too much about. I mean, I find it really hard to measure my food and all of that as well, because then it feels like a chore again.
Sure.
And I know that the only way to look fit, which is get your six pack, etc., is to measure your food. There is, otherwise it's impossible, right? As in, you need to have a calorie deficit of say 500 calories a day to to kind of lose a pound of body fat a week or something like that. So you need to be able to measure to say, are you actually in the deficit of 500 calories? I mean, like every once in a while, I'll take my MyFitnessPal, that app, right?
Okay.
So
you're tracking.
I'll say I'll start Monday morning saying 5 eggs whites, oats, And by Monday afternoon, I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna.
You're
do
not
this.
doing that.
I mean, this is just too much, you know. I mean,
Right.
I mean, it's
Right.
just I find it really really hard to do it, you know. So,
Yeah.
but
in terms of tracking it, right?
yeah, just to be able to, like, I broadly know how much I'm having.
Yeah.
But
So there's no macro calorie calculation or anything what you're doing. Like,
No, I
this
do,
is not
I
a
do.
quantified way of doing
No,
it.
but in the sense I know what is, like, you know, I need 2,500 calories
Okay.
a day, so I know that. So I kind of know what I need to eat to get to that.
Awesome.
But do I care if it's 2,000 or 2,500?
Yeah,
I don't
no,
care. No,
okay.
So, but if you want to lose and look a certain way, you need to care about it.
So essentially you have a range, but you're not very finicky about whether you're going like 100, 200 over or you're under for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, because there is no looking fit goal of sorts in this.
So I want to change gear. So we spoke a lot about you. Few months back you came out in public and spoke about the health issues Seema went through, your wife. So I want to understand that process. What made you decide? Why did you actually put it out in public? And what was essentially the process? What you went through to kind of say that I should go and write about it.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I think I've written in the post as well. You know, so when Seema and I first went to the doctor, now we went for annual health checkup, and then that's when we figured. And so when I first went to the doctor said, you know, we have like a private room for this. You know, well, no one will get to know. I'm like,
so
like,
till that moment, there was no sign, anything that any discomfort, anything.
I mean, there was nothing, you know. So like, because Seema, like I said, was really the healthiest person I knew. And so it was kind of a shock that, you know, that she of all people got this. But then I think, you know, as we spend more time, I kind of realized that, you know, this cancer is because of everything that happening around the world, right? As in, you know, pollution, the plastic, you know, I mean, all of these are carcinogenic, you know, I mean, and I think I'm just a lot more. We are both very conscious about what we consume now, and, you know, the products that you use, you know, your sunscreens, your because a lot of these things are carcinogenic. And when we started doing all of this research, you know, I kind of realized that there is that, you know, kind of mindset that cancer is something, you know, that you shouldn't speak about, and especially breast cancer, because, you know, like, women don't really talk about it, and yeah, I mean, she thought it was a good idea to kind of go put our experience out there. And I think this whole, you know, sharing knowledge, sharing whatever I think it's like cultural thing at Zerodha, right? You know, like, be it Kailash, be it me, be it Karthik. I mean,
essentially open sourcing everything what you know.
Yeah, because I think it has to. I mean, that's the way the world gets better, you know. So and yeah, I think she agreed, and actually a lot of people reached out to her after that, and, you know, a lot of, like, patients and saying, you know, thanks for writing and stuff like that. You know? So yeah, so it's that was really the idea of you know, kind of.
And I'm sure you didn't do that as a call out for help, because God willing, you had all the support. But once you did that, and once all the reactions start coming out from all dimensions, right? Did you feel of any? I mean, via that responses, was that any kind of a help coming back to you? I mean, after reading all of that, did you think that helped you out in some way? Of course, you had gone through all the process by now, but did that help you in kind of people reaching out?
No, I mean, the thing was, so one other challenge was, you know, like, people started giving things that you can do to, you know, like, the alternate.
Oh, you could have done that?
You could have done
okay.
this and
Okay.
stuff like that. So,
Right.
You know, we stopped actually reading stuff like that. You know, I mean, wherever people asked us for help, you know, we tried to do it. You know, like, connect to the right people, etc. But this whole suggestions, because cancer, like I said, right, there are different schools of thoughts on how to treat cancer. Like, between doctors, you know, you know, people don't know what's the right way to do it, because, you know, different protocols, different doctors kind of follow. So yeah, so we stopped stressing about it, you know. So and but wherever we could, you know, like, we tried to, you know, people who reached out seeking for help, we tried to offer that, you know.
You made a tweet a few weeks back saying the health span, what you get after when you cross 35 would help you, you know, once you cross 60. what are the tweaks you have made on yourself? And I'm guessing by now, since you've already given some cues, you're probably post 40s now.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
I'm 42.
42. So what are the tweaks you have started to make in yourself now, which you think that is kind of moving on that right direction of helping you in your post 60s?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think so. Firstly, what I binge right now, while I call it a binge, is maybe a fraction of what my earlier binge used to be.
Okay,
You
so
know,
that realization is there.
So like if I'm having a drink, I wouldn't do more than 2 or 3 drinks, because.
I'm not going to ask you how many you used to do it earlier.
Yeah, I mean, earlier used to be, multiple times that, So I mean, on a binging night, it would be multiple times of that. Or even if I'm eating food, like if I'm eating desserts, I have a sweet tooth. I'm not gonna go, allow my kaju burfis, for example. I wouldn't do like 200 grams of kaju burfi, right? As in, I'll take 1 or 2 pieces of kaju burfi, enjoy it slowly, and keep it in my mouth for like as long as possible.
That's a very scientific way of doing it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the first time I'm hearing that. Have a kaju burfi and keep chewing on it for a long time.
Yeah. So, we've ended up investing in 2 companies which are trying to make healthier desserts, sweets. One is this Whole Truth Bar, and the other one is this company called Ditch the Guilt. I mean, I really, really love the chocolates. The Ditch Guilt. I mean, he's got this whole like a dark version of chocolate, and it's made of pea protein. The macros are phenomenal. Like a bar of chocolate is like 180 calories and 8 grams of protein, and the only thing there is erythritol and stevia, because your calories really get loaded because of sugar. And somehow he's managed to make it such a way that the taste doesn't come through. Because otherwise, when you have anything with stevia, there is a chemical kind of a
this aftertaste to it.
So he's done a phenomenal job. So I'm usually, if I'm doing his, I keep telling him, if my body fat doesn't go down, it's maybe because of your chocolate.
Your chocolate. Maybe you should start making healthy kaju burfis now.
No, I mean, there is no way to make healthy kaju burfi.
Yeah, absolutely.
So because so it's I think that's really, I mean, and focusing more on sleep, because I've realized sleep becomes a lot more important as you grow older, to recover and what else? I mean, otherwise my life has been about the same. Just these 3 things. A little more conscious on nutrition as well. Like when I'm eating, we're trying to not eat out as much as possible, and even if I'm eating out, just make the right choices,
And how do you figure out, like, so you know that, okay, these are the changes what you got to make. Some changes perhaps might not work for you, right? Or some changes you don't know what you want to kind of bring it. So what's the process, what's the mental process where you say that, okay, these changes are not working for me, so let me check it out. And probably I might want to try a new kind of tweak, which I didn't know till this. You've heard or someone recommended and I should try it. So what's that mental process where this is not working and probably I should try that into my system?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I find it extremely challenging, I mean, I wouldn't do it. So I mean, I'll just drop off because like I said,
there's no measurement kind of like it's not working for me. Okay.
I mean, I got a business to run.
Sure.
There's
essentially a feel factor.
Yeah, it's a feel factor. I mean, if I find something stressing me too much, I have to think about it, and it starts interfering in my rest of my life. I wouldn't, really, if I'm not enjoying it, I would say, no, it's not worth it. So, because I know that if I want to have to stick to it for long term, I need to be. It shouldn't feel like a chore, and I should be, it should become a part of my life, So, so if something becomes too challenging to do it, I drop off, very quickly.
Are you a coffee guy?
Only morning coffee and black coffee, because.
Nothing throughout the day then.
I mean, I have green teas and chamomile and etc. But not coffee through the.
Is there something what you're trying to work on that you resist yourself not having the coffee? Again, going back to that who am I framework, or it just doesn't come to you naturally that you.
No, I mean, I have coffee only because it wires me for the workout. So I mean, otherwise I've never been dependent on coffee, in my life.
Okay, so you've always said that food has been a biggest challenge for you, right? So what's your relationship with food now? Like, are you looking at food as something what you like and therefore you're going for it? You're looking at it from a means of recovery, helping you replenish what has gone through? So what's the connection of food with you right now?
No, I mean, I think I enjoy my food, so I'm not ready to compromise on that. So like, you know,
And I'm sure your nutritionist is listening to this. But did you see that's an area where you work? Like, I mean, did you seek out any expert?
Yeah, no, I did. I did go meet a nutritionist who's, you know, kind of, you know, given a menu and, you know, a bunch of things that can have. No, I think you can. There is tasty, healthy food. You know, it's just, you know. You know, I mean, if you go out and you seek for it, it's very hard to do it. You know, if, like, you know, because restaurants, you know, typically compromise on the oils and, you know, salts and baking soda and all of that, right? So, so I think I like my biryani. So it's just, you know, when you're doing a biryani, just, you know, like be more conscious about what goes into it. Like,
you have to text your nutritionist that I had my biryani today.
No, she knows. You know,
okay.
She knows.
So you confess it before that you're going to have a biryani.
I've told her, you know, that it's impossible for me to stick to what you suggest to me as, you know, should be my, like, you know, I have a big problem when I'm traveling on work. You know, as soon as I get on the flight and I get off, I think my hunger pangs, you know, just go off whack, you know, and so if I'm in Bombay, I'll go to a good restaurant and have. No, I'll still make healthier choices, but, you know, like I'll probably have grilled stuff and things. But yeah, like I said, you know, I'm not letting it interfere into my life so much that, you know, the rest of the things gets affected.
Do you work on that aspect of nutrition? Let's say when you're training, and I know that you're training for Devil Circuit competition coming up. So does that consciously come in your mind that now you're at your peak fitness or peak training and you're coming up with a competition? Does it come naturally that you are able to control those hunger pangs and you kind of become more regimented, or again it's you let loose yourself, whatever comes your way?
I mean, see, the thing is, these competition, I mean, these are amateur stuff, right? I mean, it's not like I'm going to win.
You're not going
it's
for the leaderboard.
It's not like Olympics or something like that. You know?
Right.
Yeah, no, I mean, even, you know, we play football. It's very competitive, you know, on Sundays, but it's not like I'm going to, you know, make so many changes to my nutrition just to be able to play a little better football, you know. So, no, I think I'm just an average guy. I just, you know, a little more health conscious and.
But has this conscious attempt, what you're making now on your nutrition, and also you have the fitness regime right now, is that helping, or do you think just ignoring the nutrition part and just focusing on the physical part?
Oh no, I mean, I nutrition is I think 75% of the game, right? So you know,
even if you don't want a six pack.
Yeah, even if you don't want a six pack, because just to be, you know, able to get up next day morning and feel like working out, it all depends on what you ate the previous day. And so when I say don't care about nutrition, I'm talking about care about the exact, you know, 2,000 calories or 2,500 calories or 40 grams of protein or 60 grams. I mean, I don't really stress too much about that exact macro that I'm consuming. I mean, overall, you know, I know the direction and, you know, what are the good things I need to eat daily, and so I'm trying to consume that through the day of sorts.
So I'm making a guess, is biryani your cheat meal, or do you kind of pick your cheat meal every weekend?
No, even the biryani, right? I mean, it's done healthily. It's okay. You know, I mean, like white rice is not bad. I mean, you know, if meat is not bad. I think with biryani the issue is really, you know, how much oil you end up adding. You know, that, you know, and etc. So I think for me the cheat meal is if I have 2 or 3 biryanis during the day. You know, in the sense that,
wow,
in the sense
2 or 3 biryanis.
In the sense you have lunch biryani, then you have
a dinner biryani,
and then like early, you know, dinner biryani, and then and suddenly like, oh, you know what, I need to eat some more. And you know,
have you ever had a biryani for a breakfast?
Yeah, I mean,
that's a thing I think in Bangalore, right? I mean, people, there's some spots which are very famous for biryani, and people go all the way. Just
I mean,
to
not
get
now, not in the recent past, but when I was younger, I used to go to Chickpet and I used to do the
just for the biryani.
Yeah, just for the biryani every morning.
Wow.
So no, almost every Sunday actually.
Wow.
Sometimes.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. So okay, changing gears. So you've done running, you've done cycling, you've done swimming. So for the sporting nerds, do you remember any of your best times? Like, I don't know, 5K, 10K. What were
I mean,
your
I think
times?
10K I done 46 minutes. Or
wow,
something.
brilliant.
Yeah.
That's during your peak when you were kind of.
Yeah,
training?
I mean, I was very younger and I used to, you know, like focus on training. Cycling I've done. I know I've done like 400 kilometers in a day.
The breves, the long
breves,
ones.
yeah.
Okay.
You know, so I've done.
Wow.
Swimming, I love swimming. I can, you know, I mean, I love swimming in the sea. So I mean, you put me in the water, I can be there like forever.
So you've trained yourself
for swimming? I think I've always loved
from
swimming.
your early years.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's not like I've never trained under a swimmer. Okay. You know, it's just like I've always taken to water quite a bit. So most of my holidays are around the sea. So it's so that's yeah. So so swimming is I enjoy it, but also the problem I think is swimming is it's not good for your shoulders. So if you do swimming for long distances of sorts, and my posture isn't that great in swimming as well. I mean, I can swim, but I don't travel as much distance as actual swimmers do in that.
Right.
I can be in the water for an hour and a half, and
Right.
but swimming is also very meditative because it's very hard to be distracted.
Yeah.
You can't. There's no electronic.
Yeah,
Otherwise, when
yeah.
you're running, cycling, and all, you can
There's
listen to
always-
music,
yeah.
podcasts, and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Swimming, it's really. I mean, now you get devices to listen to podcasts or music, but I've consciously not bought one, and it doesn't even work well. So in the water. So
And you do triathlons also, right?
yeah, I've done a few.
Yeah.
So
Awesome. Yeah. So between and I know basketball is one of your other favorite passions. So between basketball, running, swimming, cycling, if you had to pick one sport, and you had to call out a competition, with, let's say, another startup founder, right?
Right.
Which
Oh, no,
sport
I
do you
mean
pick up?
No, basketball for sure.
Is it?
Yeah.
Awesome. And let's say which founder you want to call out and say, dude, come on.
Basketball. I mean, I would call out anyone.
Anyone? Wow. Okay. So this is on the record, right? Any startup founders, corporate
yeah,
guys,
I mean-
they want to call out Nithin for a competition, just pick basketball and come over.
Yeah, absolutely, anytime.
Terrific. So that's probably I should also ask. So who do you think amongst the people could be startup founders or corporate executives? Probably the fittest guy or fittest woman, anyone.
No, man, I think I've seen this Lizzie from Zest, right?
Okay, yeah, Lizzie Chapman.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen her run, and because I think every event, where I've seen her being conscious about her food and all of that. So I think she's really, I think like top notch in terms of, fitness and etc. I know Yash, from Policy Bazaar.
Policy
right?
Bazaar, yeah,
I know.
yesterday,
He also talks about fitness and stuff like that. I mean, I've seen Anil Ambani kind of do
Yeah, he does some marathons. Yeah, I remember 4-5 years back at Tata Mumbai Marathon, he was just standing ahead of me for I think a half marathon. Yeah, so he also.
And also Sunil Mittal, I mean, he looks really fit too. I mean, so like for his age, etc. I mean, even Anand Mahindra, right? So I mean, that these guys are taking care of themselves. So, but I think in the startup world, I think there's a lot more. I think founders can do to take care of their health. Because right now, like I said, I think this whole hustle, etc. Is overrated of sorts.
Yeah. So which means so let's put it out again. Like any startup founders out there who wants to give Nithin a competition shout, call out, email, tweet, and you're ready any day.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So okay, so as a team, I know as a team, as Zerodha team, you have this bunch of boys. You guys go out and play. What sport do you think as a team you guys are right on top and you can call out a competition any day with any other company?
Oh no, I don't think there I'm confident.
Yeah. So probably your team has to work on that.
Team has to work on it.
Okay.
No, we go play some football, but this is not really competitive football. I mean, in the sense, these are all guys who picked up football later on in life. I think a cricket team would probably be a lot stronger than everything else.
But still a work in progress. Like
it's all work in progress.
yeah,
But
you're
cricket
still very
maybe
not confident.
yeah,
the team
I'm
can
not
work.
confident. I'm confident that you put me on something I can compete
You
with.
can
on,
do
but
that.
as a
Okay.
whole team, I mean, I don't think we have a full-fledged
Okay.
team for that.
Okay.
But we are constantly trying within the company to nudge people to think about health and fitness. So I mean, I think from the last 3 or 4 years, every year we've been running like a health challenge.
Okay. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I want to talk about that. Yeah. Let's talk about habits. So what's your social media protocol, right? I mean, is it need basis or do you have like X number of minutes or hours a day? What's it like?
No, I think so for the business, right? As in around 2011-12 is the first feature of Zerodha came on the news, and we got a lot of benefit out of it. So I was like a believer that press is going to help. So I spent a lot of my time between 2012 to 17, 18, talking to journalists and media. So I used to travel around the country meeting, media professionals, so that they can write something about us and etc. So around 2017-18 is when I also saw this draining power of traditional media and this social media picking up. I kind of was a little late to the show. I mean, I used to manage social media for Zerodha, but not in an individual capacity. So I became really active on LinkedIn and Twitter in 2019, I think mid 2019. So kind of really late to the party there, and it's just phenomenal, the reach you can get.
Sure. So essentially, you're building it's coming naturally to you. You're building a brand by yourself. You're directly talking to the audience without an intermediary.
I mean, if I was not in the business, I would not be on social media, because I think I find it extremely challenging. It's absolutely distracting, and because I end up seeing tweets and in like almost everything in my life. I'm eating my food, I'm like, oh, this could be a tweet, right? Thankfully, I have checks and balances in place.
Right.
So,
do you also use Google Keep to kind of document your tweet
absolutely,
ideas?
Yeah. I mean, like my Google Keep right now will probably have 25 tweet ideas
coming up next.
So no, but no, we have like two, three people who are my like filters. So I send it to them, and they say, dude, it's stupid. And I've told them that it's stupid. Please tell me it's stupid, because the thing is, the way to get more audience on social media is really to say more, right? But saying more reduces the quality of what you're saying, right? It goes back to why journalism turned bad, right? Because journalists were forced to write too much of content, right? And without doing enough research and giving enough time, so automatically the quality went low, right? On social media, the same thing. If you're gonna be triggered to just keep saying random things, your quality of what you're saying goes down. If it goes down, then why you are there even it kind of defeats the purpose. The other reason I think we are on social media and etc. is also because I think in Indian context, people have heard a certain way of building a business, like a successful business, and they think that's the only way to build it. And I think thanks to Zerodha's success today, I think there's onus on us to actually go and share, saying there's another way to build a business.
Yeah, which is not a traditional scripted way.
Yeah, which were taught in MBA school, or what movies are made about, you can be like a chilled out organization, not like overworking, and still turn out okay. So today I think there's also onus on us to share some of that thoughts out there. But being on social media, I think is like really the toughest thing I've done in my life. I don't think anything comes even close. I mean, even harder than building Zerodha.
So do you have a protocol, like you just go post and just get out, or do you just spend time whiling around what others are saying or posting or stuff like that?
No, I've stopped caring about. I mean, I realize if I care about what others are saying, it's just gonna be. It's just
because that's a rabbit hole, right? I mean, it's like a vicious circle. You have to reply back, then it goes on a cycle.
So I just fire and forget.
Okay.
I mean, there's some people that I like, that I follow, and but I'm not sure about that, because I get on it, then you get distracted. No, but it's really I have a 15-minute time limit set on my
your mobile.
On my mobile.
Okay.
But I override it every day.
Every day. So this is across platform. Like 15 minutes for this.
No, 15 minutes across overall.
Okay.
But I end up overriding every day.
So on iPhone you have an option ignore now. So ignore and you go back.
And then it's ignore for the day.
Yeah, ignore for the day. So it's ignore 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or ignore for the day.
Yeah. So it's always every day I'm ignoring for the day.
Ignore for the day.
And like I said, I think it's harder than being on a diet. It's really, really hard, because I think when you say something which is getting activity, it's also a dopamine rush, right? As in you're getting excited that there is activity on it, right? It's I understand it's a problem, but it's a really hard problem to fix.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And do you check your DMs?
No, I mean, I have never gotten into messaging anyone, so I hardly ever get any DMs as well.
So do people don't send you up DMs, say, hey, this is my page, or I want to talk to you, blah blah blah?
No, not on social. I mean, on LinkedIn I get quite a bit. On LinkedIn I have an autoresponder saying email, somnath@zerodha.com if anything.
Smart. Som is the guy you should reach out to. So Som is getting a lot of emails that's coming from you.
It's from me, And Instagram I've never been active. So I think people struggle more with Instagram than other places. So Instagram I've hardly ever used of sorts.
So email reminds me, I mean, I found you in the last few years of knowing you to be super fast and super quick on email, right? I remember once you had introduced me to someone, and I, for some reason, just couldn't reply back to him for 2-3 hours, and you reply back me saying, dude, you have to reply back, right? So, and just super quick on your emails, right? So what's the thing with email? Like, I mean,
no, I find it very distracting if I have if there are emails which I can, which are pending work, which I can do if I have not done it, I find it very distracting. In my head, it's always running that, dude, there's something that you can do, but you have not done. I mean, there are certain things that cannot be done, it takes time, but that's okay, So, but the ones that I know, like if you send me an email, I know I can respond to you right now.
Yeah, you do that immediately. Right?
I'll do it immediately. I will not say, what, let me think about it, let me postpone, because I know that postponing just really complicates my life. So I'd rather just get done with whatever I can get done right now.
So there have been instances when I send you an email and I know even in 10 minutes, most of the time, and 95% of the emails you respond back in 10 minutes. If in 10 minutes doesn't come, then either you're sleeping or you're in airplane mode. That's the only two reasons you're not replying back on your email.
Yeah, I mean, these are some of the hacks that work well for me. I mean, like I said, just I can't see my inbox always has just one email, and that one email is to my Google Keep, which is a list of pending tasks, and that list of pending tasks links to my Google Docs. Which is, it just seeing my inbox always at one pending email just like is very peaceful. So.
Okay, so you're one of the very few guys I know across the business ecosystem, startups or corporates, who is essentially always evangelizing this theme of fitness. And you've spoken about it early, that why is it important, right? And I remember some time back you reached out to me and said, look, we got to build a wellness program for Zerodha customers. I've never heard or come across any founder or executive so concerned about their end customers. And for a company of your scale, you have millions of users, right? And you coming up and say that, look, we have to do some wellness program for Zerodha users. And you're someone who have no vested interest. Like, I mean, you're not selling a fitness package or anything. Why is it important for you that, and I will talk about employees later, but why is it important for you all the time to talk about fitness? And generally, why do you want people around you to be fit?
I mean, see, firstly, it's the right thing for them, right? And it's also the right thing for the business, And because if you think, as I said, if you have a long enough horizon, you will understand why your customers being healthy is good for you as a business, right? As in, if our customers are healthy, I mean, there'll be, chance of them being healthier financially as well increases, because usually, a health incident is really the biggest event that causes people towards financial ruin of sorts, So if people are healthy, I mean, I mean, of course, if you think about one month, 2 months, etc., it may not seem like it. But if I think about, say, we have 11 million customers, and if I think, if a large portion of this audience, this customer base were healthier, I know that eventually we will end up doing well as a business in some way as well, And so it's kind of I think it's a no-brainer, I mean.
And I don't know, I mean, and I'm sure you're not doing this just because you are in the financial business where, of course, there's a lot of stress. You're generally posting about health and fitness. I mean, you went for a trek, you'll make a post about that. You did something in your workout, you'll make a post about that. So you're essentially always imagining, and often, I'm not sure about others, but before I had got in touch with you a few years back, I was confused that, you had probably a side business of doing something in health or fitness. Right? I mean, why is this guy constantly talking about health and fitness, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think, like I said, I think people don't give enough time and attention towards their health, and more people should give it. Like the thing, I think the good thing about life to do is really to do stuff without expectations. I mean, then. Like I said, I mean, even personally, if you had a look fit goal, it's tough to stick to it. When you do things without expectations, it's just a lot more fulfilling, the journey of life itself. So, yeah, I think I say it because people need to hear about it, and I've realized that as my financial position, has improved in life, people kind of give more importance to what I say today. Right, so it's so I have kind of almost like a responsibility today to say something, because now that I know that people listen to me just because of whatever valuations and all of that, and success of Zerodha, so I have responsibility in saying things that maybe people will listen to, So
do you think the same goes for? I mean, do you think that's not been done enough, probably by others, probably in your sphere? I mean, there isn't been enough done where others are also talking about health and fitness.
The thing is, if you to be able to say it, you need to follow it.
Yeah, that's
right. I mean, I cannot be like, not doing all of this and
out
suddenly
of shape, overweight and talking about health.
So like the problem in the industry today is, I think, in the business startups as well, is everyone's stressed, about growing at a certain speed. I think everyone's compromising on the health. Almost every founder I meet, like as soon as I meet, I can almost see like them saying, I'm going to work on my health, or I'll diet, like automatically, instinctively they will themselves come to me and say something like that, which is good that they at least are conscious about it. And yeah, I think like I'm almost thinking of this as like peer pressure, some of these guys to think about it of sorts.
Yeah. So again, I mean, if people are watching and listening, it has to be a peer pressure, right? I mean, you got to do that by yourself. And like you said, you're one of the few people who are in that privileged position where people listen to you and they go back and do those action, right, in their life.
I don't know if they do it or not, but at least
Yeah, for sure. At least in some areas they're doing. So this probably should be on top of their priority list. Like health and fitness is wellness generally should be something what they should be taking care of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. How do you manage haters? I mean, you probably are in a business where, of course, stress is there. But and yesterday I was looking at Twitter, Zerodha was trending, right? And you might be always at the receiving end. Hey, I lost X bucks because of this happened on the app or blah. So what's your coping mechanism in managing online haters, trolls?
I mean, I've just made peace with it and I don't care about it anymore. Because if I cared about it, I don't think I would have survived till now. So,
But do you get stressed out in some instance because of this?
No, see, I think I care quite a bit about what our customer feel about for us as business. So every time, see, the thing is, in a technology business, tech is going to have issues. So Amazon will have, Google will have, NASA will have, every friggin' company will have an issue. So it's impossible to cover for all outcomes. We will be up 100% of the time, all the time. But I also know that I need to be on social media, right? Because it's in a way, there's a responsibility. It helps the business and all of that. So I know that to survive on social media, I shouldn't care about what people say. So
what's your kind of?
I mean, I don't look. I mean, I never.
So what's your stress resistant level, like on a scale of 10?
I mean, extremely high.
Awesome.
So, yeah, because it's like every time I think we are the only business in this country where if you have a 1 minute downtime, it creates a P&L for your customer.
Absolutely.
Right? Because like if you're on e-commerce website, if you're not able to transact, you can go back and transact in 30 minutes. No one cares, right?
So here basically you're making money or losing money.
And people who make money forget about it. The ones who lose money, hold you responsible for it. So it's and I mean, firstly, it's helped that the tech team has done a brilliant job that we've hardly ever had downtimes, but even small little issues can at our scale can get kind of blown up. I get a lot of emails from customers on those days. I mean, today we're big, so there's always regulatory pressure, and there is so. I mean, I like I said, I think I've stopped caring about really all.
So is this again the stress level? I mean, no matter how much you prepare yourself in business, you always have to be open to take it up, right? And earlier part we spoke about the mental strength. So do you think working on that mental strength has helped you to get this high resistance of keeping the stress, or there were days when early part when it was high, it was
No, I think the thing is for this whole stress, I think one of the things I've realized what helps is just be completely open about it, open and transparent, right? If there's an issue, just be open and transparent about it. And we've done it. I mean, when you have tech issues, I've written blog posts saying, dude, we screwed up. I mean, this is it. I mean, I don't think anyone in the financial world has ever written.
That's a big thing, right? I mean, you're being vulnerable out there to say that, hey, we screwed it up.
Yeah, because otherwise, when you, even internally, right, on, as I said, we have this inside forum. I make sure to share almost everything about the business, why we are doing what we are doing, etc. out there, so everyone knows about it. So, because I think when you complicate your life, is when really the levels of stress go up. You keep your life simple, it really, life's a lot less stressful. And I've always, I think as a trader, I have a trading background, so I would never do something where I can't make peace with the worst case outcome. So so if I'm investing, we are investing in a startup, I go in thinking there's a write-off, right? And I'm like, if it's a write-off, it's going to affect me. If it's going to affect me, I'll not do it. If it doesn't affect me, I'll do it, because it's exciting to do it, So it's every decision as a business is that. And so you're kind of already expecting all of these. I'm already expecting, I know that in a year I'll have 2 or 3, some issue where, there'll be client, ire on us. And so, yeah, so you kind of make peace with it. I mean, of course, you kind of use every opportunity to get better as a person, as a business. But I don't know if my, singing in the morning is really helping me.
I mean, there has to be some data which says that just because was it Eric Clapton or Pink Floyd which helped you put down your stress?
So I think I'll be taking it too far. So, but generally just thinking, like a more stoic way of thinking about of the world and keeping things simple. And I've had I keep talking about Kailash, who's our CTO, and he's like my life guru right now in terms of, not in terms of handling stress, because I think he considers me as his life guru for stress handling.
Wow, that's mutual.
No, but in terms of keeping life simple, right? It's just not complicating, thinking about, like all kind of technical debt that can happen with every decision of yours, and just be completely open about it. If there's something bothering you, just talk about it. So. And get done, so which is, I think, that keeping the just life simple is what.
That's very fascinating. So it's coming to terms being honest and candid and transparent. That like, if you just can't do it, we can't do it. If we screwed it up, we screwed up, and being open out there, like we screwed it up, right? I get an impression that that's something you've kind of understood, realized now, and it's coming naturally to you to just go out, and you're not resisting yourself and hiding things like it's out there.
And the thing is, I've also realized that being this way is itself a moat for you as a business, as a person, as a business. Like for example, there are so many regulations over the last 1-2 years that has hurt the industry, right? But hurt the revenues of the industry, or revenue of the business. But it's actually good for the industry. Right? And I've been able to put myself in a shoes, like not as the CEO of Zerodha, but like third person, and talk about it openly, saying it's going to hurt us, but it's good for the industry, right? As in, and that point of view, most people don't take, right? Because and I've been open about things, saying that this is bad for the customer, we should not do it, but it generates revenue for the business, right? So some of these things, the ability to be able to say it is also like a moat. As you grow as a person, as a business, I think you need to figure things that you can do, which is hard for others to do, right? That's really the way you can grow in your life, right? I think we've constantly, just like I realize that this constantly being able to say some rational stuff without, getting conflicted with whatever you have as a business, etc., is kind of is a moat itself.
So the 35-year-old Nithin and the 42-year-old Nithin right now, do you feel that you have that ability to keep stress at bay right now in a much better way than what?
No, I think generally. So I used to be a trader, right? So I used to trade the markets, and trading the markets is like being on a roller coaster, like not 24 hours, 7 hours a day, right? Because the markets are open 27 hours a day. And I think the only way to get through the trading way of life, is to make peace with the volatility, And so I think that background of having traded for 10, 12 years is so the business volatility didn't really seem too much of a volatility, because so even as a 35-year-old me, I don't think I was really getting stressed about what customers say and stuff like that, because I knew that shit's going to happen, right? As in, there is no way to escape that, So, but I've probably matured in every other sense. But this whole stress ways, I think I've always been a very, I know there are these outcomes going to happen, which is not in our control, and So I think I don't know if I've significantly improved in that level.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's a blessing in disguise, but I don't know of any other company who would trend on Twitter that frequently as what Zerodha would do, right? Every once in a month, you guys are trending, right?
No, it's just quite crazy. I see. The thing is, the reason for that is also because we are today peak bull market, right? So we are right now at the top of a bull market. At the top of a bull market, the stockbroker is one who gets most attention, right? And all of this love and action and attention might disappear as soon as the markets fall, which will happen at some point of time, right? So right now we're trending because everyone cares about what's happening in the stock markets, what's happening on the trading app, and etc. So,
Let's talk about your employees. Again, you're one of the very few people I know, at least in the startup business ecosystem, who is all the time coming with some crazy employee challenges, right? So how do you think about these challenges, right? I mean, what's the process where you say that, hey, this has to be BMI this time, or this has to be step counter this time, so what makes you come up with this? The process of figuring out what the challenge has to be, and has it really worked for you guys?
yeah, no. See, the thing is, I've been like I know that for us to do well as a business, everyone within Zerodha has to stay healthy mentally, physically, right? As in, it's a given, right? As in, so I mean, I've always thought about it. As in, we've always done marathons as a team. I've always nudged people, saying, you need to do this. Think about health. I've never lost an opportunity to talk about this within the team. But within the team, there is also flexibility to do more. So as and when the business started making more money, and so there was more freedom to do things. We've experimented. Be it running online programs, or I think in 2019 I read this article around like this whole how this lottery based outcomes can nudge large groups of people, right? And that's when this whole idea came that we will set the first challenge was that, which is it's not incentivize. If it's a small incentive, people don't care about it. If you're going to make 1,000 rupees by fixing some lifestyle of yours, you may like after 10 days say, no, 1,000 rupees, screw it, right? But what if the outcome was 10 lakh rupees, right? Now 10 lakh rupees is a significant outcome, but you can't give 10 lakh rupees to everyone, right? So, but if there was a lottery of 10 lakh rupees, can you get 100 people to change their behavior for that one lottery ticket, right? Saying that, if you put 100 people in a room and you said, you fix your behavior at this, everyone who fixes, I'll pick up a lottery ticket and give 10 lakh rupees. That'll have a far better outcome in terms of results as compared to dividing 10 lakhs amongst 100 people, which is give 1,000 or say 10,000 rupees to each of them.
Yeah.
Right? Because, this is something I was reading and I was like, maybe you should experiment with it.
So with lottery, there's a sense of unknown. You don't know. It's like a luck factor, right? Here you got to work. You're literally asking a person to move, and look, physical thing doesn't come very easy.
What I'm saying is the outcome of the lottery.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah, you do this and therefore you get that.
Yeah, in a sense, the fact that, what does lottery give? It gives you a sense of, if I hit it, it'll somehow sort something in my life, right? Now, right now in a normal lottery, you need to go buy a lottery ticket and hope and pray, right? And the fact that, but what if that lottery ticket was something that needed some work, right? So essentially that's what, the first idea was, which is you get people to qualify for a lottery ticket by making lifestyle changes. So the first challenge was, we put out a health challenge saying, you put any health goal of yours, and then come back and say, did you meet it or not?
Oh, okay. So it's open-ended.
It's open-ended.
Okay. You choose what you want to work on. Okay.
And then we said, we'll pick up one lottery and give 10 lakh rupees.
Oh, okay. So you meet a certain threshold, and then amongst all the X number of people who met a threshold, you pick a lottery.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
And it's straightforward, right? So amazing transformations,
Awesome.
So there were like at least.
I remember you saying that some guy lost ton of weight.
Yeah, I think at least 20-25 people,
Wow.
lost significant amounts of weight, etc. But the issue with that challenge, the first year's challenge, was it was very open-ended of sorts, right? So there was no, I could set any goal, in the sense, I'm 85, I could set a goal of 80, in the sense, and so the qualification wasn't too hard of sorts. So the second year, I thought, what, we should make it a little harder in terms of qualify.
So how are you coming out with this process? Like what the?
No, because you saw it, right?
Okay. So there's an there's an outcome of the first year challenge. Then you kind of figure.
Yeah,
out
like 600 people put health challenge. If 500 met it, that means the friggin'.
It's working. Yeah.
No. The challenge itself was was not very challenging.
Oh, okay.
In a sense, right? So
there's a larger pool for the lottery now.
So the second year we said, let's, actually third year, the first 2 years we ran it this way. The third year we said, let's put a BMI challenge. Let's say a 25 BMI is like a, anyone who's under 25 BMI qualifies for the lottery, and so which meant everyone outside about 25, had to kind of reduce to qualify. But I got a lot of hate for that.
Yeah. There was a lot of backlash online. Right? So did that come? And I saw you come back and kind of double click on that and tell the kind of thesis behind why you said that. So did that make you come back and rework on the challenge internally?
No, see, the thing is, so we are all working remotely, right? So the easiest way to be able to track people in terms of their health, fitness is really the BMI. I mean, I kind of, we had internally when we had put it out there, I had said that BMI is not the fair measure to do it, but it's probably the easiest way to do it, right? Because, someone has higher bone weight and etc. I mean, his BMI is not going to be sub 25.
And people come from they have different physiologies. Yeah.
Correct, yeah. So, but overall, we had said 25 BMI is, is probably, there was piece made, and this is optional.
And you have a think tank or someone internally who kind of you filter it through.
So we have like a team where we discuss these things before we do it. But on health and fitness, it's usually me, taking the lead and and stuff like that. So,
and you're never part of the lottery.
No, man, I'm not.
You're writing a check and coming back to you.
No, of course not. So, I mean, none of the core management team is part
of it. Okay.
No, in the sense, they're all. I think we're the fittest core management team, but they're not really part of any of the lotteries. So that. It's a BMI thing a little fired. Yeah. So this year we have set, screw BMI, and we said let's set activity goals. Okay, yeah. So we've set we've given everyone activity trackers because I think it's like a brilliant tool, just to bring more accountability.
And people can choose whatever activity they want. Yeah.
They do anything, they move, they dance, they run, they cycle, whatever, So, and you just have to get to like a minimum. I think we've set it 350 to 400 calories per day, which is not a very hard to achieve. It's kind of.
So you basically do swimming, running, dancing, whatever you want to hit X number of calorie burns.
Yeah. I mean, for men we have put 400. I think women we have put.
Okay. So gender based.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just. No, actually now we even removed that and we said you set what you want as a activity goal and.
Okay. So last few years, you've started talking a lot about climate change, sustainable living. What's your thinking model, right? I mean, how do you educate yourself around this topic, and how do you come to kind of terms like, okay, this is a thesis you want to kind of work in the future?
See, I mean, this is really K's influence, Kailash's influence on my life, so which is, the more I spend time with him, the more I've questioned, what is the debt, what's your kind of carbon footprint on every single thing that you do, right? Because you need to kind of give more back to the planet than what you've taken, and I think it's a given now that we are pushing this planet to a point where it will be very tough to recover of sorts, right? And I think what's driving that is excessive consumerism, as in it's just wanting to constantly keep buying something which doesn't, which you probably don't really need, right? So it's very hard to, it's very easy to say it, but very hard to follow it. So I'm not saying that I'm a monk, that I don't have any vices. Yeah. But I'm very conscious, every time I'm buying something, I'm thinking, do I really need to buy something? So this whole, the whole thing around climate change, I mean, it's a given. I mean, there's enough science to say that we are destroying the planet, right? And the question again, if you think about long term, if I'm thinking that I want to, there's also selfish reasons for this, right? As in, if in 30 years from now, the planet's going to be a lot worse, and we have to be stuck within our houses all the time, and etc. So, what's the point of everything else? I mean, what's the point of health? What's the point of wealth, etc. Right? So, so I think as humans, we need to do something before it's too late. And the other thing that's always bothered us also has been that, in India, how poor the country is. I mean, outside your, the top 4-5% of the country, it's really a poor country, and we need to find ways to, get, everyone, inclusively rich of sorts. And rich isn't really a rupee value. Rich is, if people are well educated, they're satisfied, content in their life, they've, enough food, their shelter. I mean, that's a rich life, isn't it? And so I mean, these are mega problems.
You're reaching out to experts to kind of self-educate yourself, or you're kind of reading whatever comes your way.
No, so we set up a foundation.
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
Rainmatter
Rainmatter
Foundation.
Foundation.
Yeah, 2.5 years back. Samir had said there's an amazing team. So there's always conversations happening
Okay.
there around
Okay.
this, and yeah, for me, you know, I also kind of read up and listen to stuff around this. So yes, I mean, the thing is, the problem is so big. I don't think there's any solution one person can. But I think we all should attempt to make some change, because if enough people attempt to make some change, you know, the odds of something happening is really higher than, and everyone's saying, you know, sitting and saying, you know what, this will somehow automatically solve itself, right? Because otherwise, you know, all large problems, you know, the first instinctive reaction is to say, you know what, the government will solve it, or, you know, some US will solve it, or, you know, there'll be some technology that will somehow miraculously solve this, which is not in these, you know, in cases of around livelihood creation and climate change. So yeah, so I mean, and then, like I said, all the success of the business has given us the freedom to experiment, right?
Sure.
Which is also very important. You know,
Sure.
if I didn't have the money, I don't think, you know, we would have had the freedom to do all of this.
Right.
And
Right.
over the last 3 to 4 years, you know, the business has generated cash. So, you know, we are now saying, and the cash is not required for the business to grow.
Okay.
So we are saying, you know, it's almost unfair to keep money idle in everything.
Sure,
You know?
sure.
So we've allocated. We said that most of the success of the business eventually will be given back. You know, I mean, we started with $100 million allocation. We've deployed, I think, 350, 400 crores, and over, you know, we'll keep, you know, as and whatever the business generates, the money which we don't need as a business, we will use it to kind of invest in the future, as how our team calls it.
So, I mean, one of the ways you also invest, I believe the surplus cash is you also invest in
Right.
startups, right?
Right.
And you've invested in a ton of startups which are not core to your business, right?
Right.
I mean, there's of course this fintech startups what you do, but you've been also investing a lot in health and wellness startups, right? So what's that thesis? It just, I mean, why would you do that in a space which is not giving any strategic value? And not just one or two, I think probably about half a dozen or more you've invested in health and fitness. So what's the approach to that?
No, I think Indians need an easier way to make healthier choices, right? And you know, I mean, that's really the idea. You know, I mean, even in fintech, right? We have not ever gone into an investment thinking it's going to somehow help us, benefit us in any way. It's more about just, you know, it's going to help the capital market ecosystem in India. It'll help people do better with their money. You know, so the idea has been more that, and with fintech, or with even, you know, whatever health, the investments that we're doing, I mean, it's more that, you know, it's like I said, you know, the idea with Ditch the Guilt or with Whole Truth was people need access to easier, healthier kind of food.
Good chocolate. You should still eat chocolates, but good healthy chocolates.
Yeah, I mean, macros are, you know, are okay and stuff like that. And yeah, so like, yeah, there are a bunch of them we have done, and a bunch of them lined up over the next.
So now that we know you're writing checks, so request for startups, right? Any specific area you think not a lot of work has been done specifically in health and fitness, and you're willing to write a check? Any specific areas you have in mind?
No, I mean, this is, I mean, while there is a lot of testing done today, I don't think there's enough, like, overall, like, you know, like one of these companies that I've been following is this Inside Tracker in the
Sure.
US.
Yeah,
No, like,
yeah.
you know, your
So diagnostic blood test.
yeah, blood test, you know, like proper blood work, you know,
Yeah.
micronutrients
Yeah.
and your, your gut, I mean, today, because most testing that is happening is very, you know, not fitness focused, nutrition focused, you know, so I think there's an opportunity there. I don't know how big the market is though, but I think if someone like that exists, then automatically the chances of that growing as an industry.
It's more personalized to you, who you are,
Right.
basis on your physiology, your background. So and you
Right.
get actionable insights, right? I mean, what
Correct.
you got to work on.
Yeah, I think generally the theme is, you know, like personally, I think that, you know, every human is different. So, you know, he should be able to at least be able to figure easily what works, what is, you know, right for him, what's not. No, I mean, I've always believed that, you know, I don't know why Indians don't give enough importance to yoga. I mean, while yoga is popular, but I think a lot more can be done. And I think, and we are like thought leaders of yoga, right? As in, we can't let some Americans claim yoga.
Yeah, I remember someone saying that's probably the only product which has come out from India which is global, like
Yeah,
Indian product.
Yeah,
which is
but
global.
Indians are not benefiting out of it.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean,
Yeah.
everyone else is, so many companies making hundreds of millions of dollars in yoga, and I think that wealth has to be created in India.
And there's
right?
no Indian company which is doing that. Yeah,
So I think I mean, there are people attempting, but I think yoga is very tough to crack digitally. I think. I think this is teaching yoga on a Zoom, etc. is very hard. So so
I've tried a bit. I've told you about it. It's very hard.
So I think it's some physical kind of a thing there, and yeah, and I'm generally open. I think as long as it's a health and actual real health and fitness, nutrition kind of a problem that we are addressing. I mean,
so guys who are working on any cool health tech idea, which could be diagnostic, yoga, you know how to reach Nithin. For sure, the DMs might be diverted to Som, but you can reach out. The check is ready. Cool. So, so while researching about you, and I often keep going into, different pages of Google, and on the third page, I found something very interesting, which said, the most handsome broker, world's most handsome broker.com, right? What's the story behind that?
That's a parody site, I mean, it's Kailash.
I don't know if many people know about it, but people should check out, world's most handsome broker.com.
I mean, that's like, Kailash who's built that, and he's just put it as a parody site. I don't know why he's done it, I mean, and he uses every opportunity to talk about it. So,
right. So you are known in the space, in the startup space. A lot of professionals working in the corporates also look up at you. So if you want someone to really take away something, especially to in health and fitness principle, right? What what that would be?
No, I think over the last 1-2 years, like this whole thinking of backcasting, which is. Like think about how you want lead your life post 60, and then plan for it now. Like what changes you need to make in your lifestyle now to be able to lead your life a certain way after whatever. Body's going to get old. I mean, there is no getting away from it, right? As in, I find it like a very like a useful and important way to think about. I think you will end up giving more importance to health, nutrition, etc. when you think about it. I think this whole I've done this mistake in the past. This looking fit goal is really hard to stick to. So it's like if you have a certain visualization of you as a person in terms of how you look, it's very hard to do it. I think the other thing is just everyone would have some love for some sport,
Sure.
right? I think. It's probably the best way to kind of remain fit, which is pick up a sport and just play it, and finally I think keep moving through the day. I mean, right, if nothing else, I think sitting is the new smoking, and just find excuse to just keep moving through the day, and that enough is that's gonna be enough for most people actually.
I want to wrap up maybe a couple of questions more. What's the any extravagant spend you have done on health and wellness in the recent past? Like it could sound luxury, but that was very extravagant. Anything specific?
Not really. I mean, I like my massages. I think massages are amazing for recovery.
Like, people think that it's luxury, but it is not.
No,
right?
it's
the most needed thing what you want
Absolutely,
to do. Right.
Taking care of your body really should be the most important priority in your life.
Right.
I mean, I don't think people should think of gym membership, a trainer, or your food that you eat as luxuries. I mean, I think these are like in a way necessity of sorts. You're actually. I mean, rather than spending 2 lakh rupees on an iPhone, if you spend 2 lakh rupees on yourself, I mean, I think it's going to go a long way in life, right? I think I've, I mean, it's not extravagant for sure. So I mean, it's
massage is of course not like what. I mean, it will put you off like a couple of $1,000 a month.
I mean, like it depends how many massages you get. Who is massaging? I mean, it could be more, but it's not going to be extravagant. I mean. I don't think there's anything extravagant as such.
Anything you got for yourself, let's say, less than $1,000, again something related to health and fitness, but you realize after using it it's undervalued?
I don't know, man. I don't think. I think $1,000 very hard. I mean, I have a foam roll. I know how much.
Oh,
a foam
I was
roll
thinking about it, right? One of those grid balls,
Yeah,
foam
yeah.
roller, yeah, like 200, 400, 500 bucks.
400,
Yeah.
500 bucks.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I have a good foam roll. I don't think you get it for less than 1,000, but foam roll is amazing, and I spend on 5-10 minutes during my stretching on foam roll, and it's almost like getting a massage
Sure.
yourself.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Self-releasing. It's also painful, right? I mean, you're kind of self-inflicting yourself to go through that pain of releasing your knots.
Yeah. So maybe maybe a foam roll.
You tweeted recently saying that how all these consumer businesses are bombarding you with a lot of app notifications, and as a company at Zerodha, you guys basically do just one message a month. Imagine a situation where that message has nothing to do with stocks, markets, right? With health, wellness, right? Can you think of that one message, what you want to say, which goes once a month and something to do with health and wellness? What would that be?
The thing is, these messages, what I've realized is, it works best when it's contextual. Like, on a finance app, if you suddenly get a health related message, it'll not even register, right? So if I had to really send something, I would probably sell a health insurance on my plan, or saying, go get yourself a health insurance, because, shit's going to happen in your life, and, your health, you have no control on, and most likely your financial ruin will be because of a health incident. Right, and so if I had to really talk about health on this thing, I would actually ask people to go buy themselves
a
health insurance plan.
Sure.
Right, because anything else I say, it'll almost seem weird on a finance app. So.
All right. So almost to the end. We spoke a bit about we didn't really speak, but we brought in stoicism, right? So is that so? What's your philosophy of life right now? I'm sure it keeps changing as we keep growing. How would you define your philosophy to life right now?
No, I mean, I just enjoy every day. I mean, it's have fun every day. That's about it. I mean, it's. I mean, I don't really. I'm not a very ambitious guy. I don't have long term become whatever. And, so I think the way I think of life is you get up every day, you do something where you get a little better on that day, as a person, as a business, whatever. I mean, you're lucky, you're at the right place, right time. Good things can happen to you in your life. So but I think the core of the whole thing is to be able to enjoy what you're doing and not do things that you don't enjoy. And not do things that you don't enjoy is a very hard choice, because you have to make hard decisions in life to stop doing things that you don't enjoy. So be it hanging around with the wrong people, be it taking those hard decisions as a business and etc. So that's really, I think, the philosophy is.
What has parenting taught you about yourself, which you didn't know till the time you kind of experienced?
I mean, it's really hard. I give a lot of credit to my parents now after being a parent.
Sure.
And no,
something about you which you didn't know about yourself.
I didn't realize I'm that impatient.
Yeah, I mean, that's something which I hear a lot. Almost everyone saying that.
Yeah. I mean, I thought I'll be, this parent who's going to somehow give so much time and give, see, the thing is, you can give time, but it has to be undivided attention. And that's really
And it's
hard.
even harder now than during our parent days, because you have all the means for us to get distracted, right? I mean,
Mobile, Netflix, news, I mean, push notification. I mean, it's become really hard, So no, I think being just to be able to raise a kid today is a really, really hard task, So.
Nithin, we have spoken ton from health, mental fitness, physical fitness, nutrition. I just want you to kind of, as an ending note, say, right, for largely, I'm assuming a lot of startup guys, a lot of corporate guys might be listening, watching to this. You have done a lot. You figured out what's working, what's not working. If many of those guys have to have a starting point, not just for themselves, but also, let's say, founders who are thinking about employee challenges or talking about their own customers' health, what could be a starting point for them to kind of think through?
No, I see, starting point has to be thinking about your health, right? Because you cannot, like I said, it'll be almost hypocrisy if I said all of this without thinking about it myself. So I think the first step is really to think about your health, and like I said earlier, think about how you want to lead your life once you have whatever you're working towards for your inner life, right? As in, and then work backwards and say what changes you need to make today to be able to lead that in the future, right? As in, and then and then I think if I had to say, I think one trick is get an activity tracker.
Sure.
And start moving every day. Set an activity goal and start moving. I think you don't have to go to a gym. You don't need a trainer. Just walk. I mean, I was reading about this paper on Solius push-ups.
Solius push-ups. Yeah, which has some impact on your metabolic.
Yeah, I mean, sit here and keep
doing this push-up. So amazing. Like what a simple pushing up from your soleus muscle can do to your metabolism.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think the idea is to start kind of moving and eat as little outside as possible. Cook your own food as much as possible, because eating outside food is really damaging to your body. It's just, and I think in today's world, it's people have to just be a lot more conscious about it, because it's so easy to just order food from outside. So I think that's it.
Yeah, no, this has been super fun, Nithin. I mean, I couldn't think of anyone else than getting this first podcast done with you. I mean, you were the first guy whom I reached out when I was doing my startup, and you said yes. Then you again said yes to me when I said I want to try the podcast thing. So I'm super thankful to you. It's been super fun, and I really hope that people who are listening and watching could take some cues, some takeaways, and start becoming healthy and fit.
Yeah, no, I think it's a need of the hour. More people have to talk about it. So best of luck with this, Dilip.
Thank you, Nithin.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you for listening and watching the entire podcast. I would love to get your feedback. You can leave your comments here on YouTube or reach out to me on LinkedIn, Twitter, or by an email. Details of all of which are mentioned in the description below. And please also include your suggestions on the other guests I should be speaking to. Thank you once again, and I will meet you on the other side with a new guest.